Yo, what's up everyone? Loz Taylor from While She Sleeps here. You're watching Metalshop TV. Yeah, so when we released the Sleep Society, we also released a campaign to basically tell people and indicate to them the current state of the music industry, how streaming is sort of killed a lot of revenue for bands. Yeah, we released a Patreon platform called the Sleep Society, and it went, it went crazy. As always, our fan base listened to the message that we were giving out and supported it, and it's made the whole campaign like a really awesome time and yeah, a really awesome thing to be involved with. A lot of my friends' bands released records during the pandemic, and they said it was so tough releasing a record and not being able to tour it. Unfortunately for us, everything sort of fell into place with that. We delivered a first single, and then the COVID restrictions lifted. And for us, it just gave us something to work on whilst everyone was sort of locked up. So, yeah, and in terms of the message, I think there has to be bands that stand up and say something in certain times for certain situations. And I think that for us, While She Sleeps is that band. And it was, it was a bit scary releasing an album in that way and releasing a Patreon sort of platform to go alongside that. But it's been an awesome campaign, and I think for anyone that loves While She Sleeps like we do, it's their place to be and see what goes on and all the extra stuff that comes with that. So yeah, it's been a great experience, and yeah, still going strong. So we have some of the biggest shows we've ever played coming up. We've got Alexandra Palace in London on that's looking like it's going to sell out, and we're also coming over to Europe to do some huge shows as well. And it goes without saying that there will be some new music alongside that. So we're getting ready to release, and we've been in the studio sort of for the last half a year, sort of churning that and grinding out new music. So yeah, we're just about to start this whole new chapter of While She Sleeps, and yeah, we're stoked for it. It's interesting, I think that we never want to be that band to create the same record twice. I think for me personally anyway, that's really boring when a band finds their sound, and fair enough, if they're good at it, and the fans like that, that's great. But for myself and While She Sleeps, I think that we want to keep our fan base on its toes, so they don't know what to expect from a new record. And I think this record will do that. We're still pushing boundaries, but we still sound like While She Sleeps. There's still heavy stuff in there, but also having fun and trying to be experimental. We don't want to confine ourselves to a box. We've never been that band, so yeah, it's exciting. I think everyone's gonna love it. Yeah. I think it's going to be like While She Sleeps on steroids, we always try and bring the energy, we want people to come to our shows and have a lot of fun. I think that anyone that knows While She Sleeps already knows that the feeling and the energy is always like a mutual thing, it's reciprocated both ways. We're not blind to the fact that without our fan base we wouldn't be anywhere, so we like to make sure our fan base know that. And as long as everyone's having a beer chugging party, then that's job done for us. But yeah, it's going to be special. We were already mind blown when our band played Brixton Academy. That was like a bit of a life goal for the band, and although we've never put too much pressure on it, I think getting to Alexandra Palace as the if you'd have told the young kids that we were when we started the band that we'd be at Alexandra Palace, playing to sort of 10,000, I'd have probably had a nosebleed and passed out. So yeah, it's going to be very special for us, and yeah, it's going to be an incredible show. Yeah, for sure. I think that luckily, while she sleeps, like, we found our own sort of sound years ago. I think that the way that Sean Long plays guitar and the way that we sing is like very different to loads of bands. I think for me personally, I think metalcore got very, very quickly, well, I say quickly, but over the years has become very, very oversaturated. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, we don't want to confine ourselves to just being a metalcore band. I think that although we don't take any sort of direct inspiration from those bands, I think that the way bands like sort of Enter Shikari and Bring Me the Horizon have been unapologetically themselves, I think that is something that, you know, we take note of and we like, you know. And, you know, I think sometimes it can kind of get boring if you don't change things up and try new things, you know. I like a bit of upset, you know what I mean? I like to see people bitching online about like a new direction, or, you know, the fact that I'm wearing fishnet tights on stage, do you know what I mean? It's like, who really gives a fuck? But yeah, I think that the way that a lot of the British bands go about doing their thing is definitely something that we kind of proud to be involved with, you know. And like you say, there's tons of awesome bands coming up as well. Bands like Loz, you know, like killing it, heavy. So yeah, we're glad we have our place in the UK sort of metal scene. And yeah, no, we don't want to sound like anyone else. So. Yeah, just we. You know, where our warehouse is that we have in the UK, where our studio is literally across the road from where Bring the Horizon do their thing and Drop Dead is. So, you know, we're around those guys quite a lot. We've toured with them quite a bit. And yeah, like, it just sort of made sense. Ollie heard this, Ollie was interested to see what our next record was going to sound like, and so we sent him some clips and stuff like that, and he was just like, yeah, you know, I'd be down to get involved if you'd like me to, sort of thing. And yeah, you don't turn down shit like that. So we were cool with that. And yeah, the song's still the biggest one. So like one of the biggest. So yeah, it's fun, man. We just like to, you know, the same thing with sort of Simon Neil from Biffy Clyro and Derek Whibley from Sum 41. They're just fun collaborations. Sometimes you can just hear that element, someone else's vibe would go really well. And they owed us one as well, so it all made sense. I think that whilst we were writing the song, it felt like it was going to be a big single for us anyway. I think that Ollie getting involved with that just helped elevate that. But yeah, it's hard to know how these things are going to go down. You know, people have so many different opinions and this and that. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool vibe, and yeah, like you say, it's definitely a big song for us. Yeah, no, for sure. We have a really sort of strange way of writing songs. Like, I think that bands can sort of get a song together quite quickly. For us, it seems to take a lot of time. We have 5 guys in the band that although we like a lot of the same music, we also like tons of different music as well. So I think that's why you hear such a eclectic sound with our band. So it seems to take us a little bit longer to sort of, you know, chat through those different things and make sure we're all happy. But yeah, you know, like, I don't actually remember whether that was one that we spent tons of time on or whether it just sort of came together quite quickly. Sean's sort of the main guy in the studio, so he puts a lot of it together. And I think with that song, we just wanted it to be sort of a party rager, you know, like, sort of almost felt like give the people what they want, you know, like riffs and synths, and yeah, it was sort of an accident. Like, there was never any talk of it being a single, when we put out the record, it just connected with people and people were loving it. So yeah, it's worked out great for us. We close the show with it at the moment, so it's a good one for us for sure. I think that like over the years we feel like our fan base has a bit of a cult following. You know, like a lot of people might be on the outside of While She Sleeps and they're not sort of like, you know, they either love it or kind of hate it, a bit of that Marmite vibe. So we've always felt like we had a bit of a cult following, and you know, in a funny way, we always talked about our fan base. It's like feels like a bit of a cult, you know, if you know, you know, kind of thing. So we've always talked about that and how we could maybe like bring that in a little bit more, and I think, you know, when you think of a cult, you know, it's kind of a bit heavy and a bit sort of like a bit gothy in a way. But yeah, so we want, you know, it's basically a glorified fan club, and they're nothing new, you know. It's just, like I said before, for us, like if you care about this band as much as we do, there is a place for you to be there and get tons of this extra shit for the extra, you know, the extra input you have on our band. You know, it's like I said, through COVID and stuff like that, it really helped balance things out and sustain things for us, and going alongside that message with, you know, about revenue changing and how it can be difficult to sort of meander through the industry nowadays and stay an important band. But like I said, the response was overwhelming, and I think for me that's what it gives you, that sense of community almost. You know, like when I was a kid you know, at school and I was wearing like a fucking Slipknot hoodie or something, that you'd always have that sense of community around other people going to gigs, or, you know, someone's wearing the same hoodie as you, you're like, fuck yeah, dude. And I think that's what it comes back down to. It's that like, While She Sleeps, we've managed to create this awesome community of people that like think like we do and understand the lyrics and the message. So it's giving that place to be there and be heavily involved is really cool. For sure, yeah. And we're, you know, it's been difficult over the years to grasp, you know, how we do this, how we make the society work in other countries and stuff. But I think going forward, there is going to be sort of like, you know, like limited capacity shows and special events happening in more in Europe and stuff like that. So yeah, we're working on it, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, it gets really difficult with like management and labels and all this different stuff. Like for us, the reason we sort of decided to go out more independently was because we were very sort of, we have a very punk rock ethic to the way that we do things anyway. You know, we're very DIY and very hands-on. We've got like 5 guys all battling to try and get involved and produce sort of everything. So for us it made sense, and that's not to say that for other bands, you know, labels and management and all that sort of stuff isn't great, but for us it made sense to move away like that. And like I said earlier, I think it's cool that we're a bit of a spokes band, if you like, for that situation. And like I say, it's, you know, the markets are oversaturated with so many awesome bands now. So yeah, it's a good way to connect. It's a good way to get more out of it if you're a fan. And but yeah, like you say, the workload is heavy, you know. But we were up for it, and we decided to do it, and yeah, it's going good. First gig I played, I was practicing in my grandparents' garage with my younger brother, and we were playing basically punk rock covers. The band was called They Sent Revenge. Yeah, and our first show was at like a local venue. We were supporting a big sort of screamo, emo type band at the time called the Fire Escape Routine, and I think there was quite a lot of people there. I think it was like maybe 100 people. So like, not a bad time. Yeah, it was pretty good. I can't even think what I've got tattooed now. I've got so much crap. I like this one. It says the world is broken, because I feel like the more and more time we spend on this earth, the more and more time we realise how fucked up it is. And it gets people talking, you know, from the general public just staring and being like, you know, what do you mean by that? You know, it just, you know, it's just fun. If I could choose an occupation to just be good at, I'd probably be a pro skater. I've always, like, skateboarding and music have always gone hand in hand for me. I always bring a board on tour and, you know. But yeah, if I could choose a job and I was good enough, I'd be a professional skateboarder. But I've done jobs in the past. I've never shied away from working. I've never been like a lazy guy. I've always sort of worked to earn. I've worked in sort of residential care homes, working with sort of children, adults with learning difficulties and special needs. I've, you know, put on my own festivals and stuff in the towns so that we have inspiration for the younger kids coming through to want to get into bands and learn and stuff like that. You know, when I first ever left school, I was working at a fucking hairdresser's, just making teas, sweeping up, learning to cut hair. So yeah, just anything that I could do really to earn a crust. So yeah, I don't know what I'd be doing now, but yeah, those are some of the things. So I wasn't actually on stage, but while she sleeps, we're a big fan of a band called Sick of It All. A few years ago, we went to see Sick of It All at a festival in Europe somewhere, and basically in the centre of the mosh pit, this guy took down his trousers, took his cock out, and like pissed in another guy's mouth that was on his knees underneath him, and then drank his piss. So, I mean, that's pretty hardcore, you know.